Howdy folks, Sapper here, aka Sean, with another turn completed, I think. Game turn 2. I just finished up and I was going through the reinforcement and replacement phase, and I gotta say I'm a little bit agitated because apparently I have units on the map that shouldn't be there. They shouldn't have arrived until many turns later, and so it's pretty much screwed up the game. And I think I have a solution, but you know how it is. When you make a pretty big mistake and you're invested in a game and you want to try to fix it, but you know, when you get done playing it, you know that it's not going to be right? So if you look here at the Russian setup, it's got this long text box that tells you where stuff goes. So Kaliningrad units, either in the Kaliningrad land area, urban area, city or town hex Kaliningrad, except. And I hate when they do exceptions. Exceptions always screw me up, and that's one of the reasons I have a problem with the naval rules, is because there's like a line in there and then it says otherwise, and I don't like it when they do that. That's like, to me, that's a lazy way out. So anyway, so we're here, except for CMD, 33rd SMD, 41st SMD Army, and 58 SMD Army units. All other Russian ground, MSU, and helicopter units start in either the Russian or Belarus land areas. All Belarus ground units, and you can see that, right? So it's, by reading that, it says all units start in Kaliningrad area, or any urban city, town, hex of Kaliningrad, except for these units. So that implies that these units go other places on the map, wherever you decide you want to put them. Well, as I'm going through the reinforcement schedule, game turn 2, I see CMD, 8 units. So then I start looking. I'm like, wait a minute, those guys are already on the map. And then I read down farther, SMD, and then more SMD. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, those guys are, I'm already using those guys. So we basically have CMD, SMD, 41st SMD, so that's these guys here, and then 58th SMD. So this group here, this blue group here, and then this orange group here, they're not supposed to be on yet because the reinforcement schedule says otherwise. Right here. Well, I've already got them on the map. I've been playing with them, and this except right here. All right, there we go. This except right here kind of explains it. But man, I hate it when they do that. Like, why couldn't you do something like this for the Russian setup? It would have been just as easy. So now I've got, what, 2 armies worth of stuff on the map that aren't supposed to be on the map. So basically what I decided to do was, since we're only in turn 2, we would be on Bravo reinforcements. I went ahead and introduced the Charlie reinforcements already. And I did my NATO entry DRM, and those guys went ahead and they did enter. So at least we have NATO forces involved now as well. But still, I just, I'm going to be playing the game the whole time knowing, you know what, it's not going to be a legit playthrough because things got screwed up. So anyway, so I guess enough of that. So anyway, these are the reinforcements that I got from NATO. These are the advance. I think these are supposed to be 3rd turn, but since I've advanced the schedule, these are the U.S. Air Force planes I've randomly drawn. These guys, these are the Swedish airplanes that you get when Gotland is successfully captured by the non-allies. So, there's going to be more stuff now, more units that I'll have on the map to slow the Russians down a little bit. But, we'll see. I'll continue to play, but it's just agitating the way that it all worked out. and the way they just have stuff written. So now let's get on to what happened. So these guys, they moved down into whatever the name that place is. They're going to start pushing into Poland. I mean, that's what the plan is. This division here, they went ahead and moved up one because they're going to probably end up help support what's going on in Estonia up there. Tried to clear this province and and again they both failed. These airborne guys just aren't. They just don't have enough stacking points and all that. And of course the clearing number is 6. It's about as high as you can get to, so it's going to be really hard for those guys. So these guys are going to end up going up there and helping them out. Gotland they successfully air assaulted in and then went ahead and cleared Gotland. So now Gotland is under Russian control. This surface action group moved down to one more sea area. The surface action group moved into the inshore box, and I think what I'm going to end up doing with them is moving them onto the strategic, or not the operational display, so they can provide naval gunfire support. That's what I think is going to happen. Got the carrier battle group and the amphibious assault force into the southern Baltic, which is good. Then NATO needed that, so eventually these Marines will end up probably doing a landing in Poland. And we'll see what happens. Let's see here. What happened over here? So we had a lot of clearing operations this turn, and obviously the reason we had a lot of clearing operations is because we had, extra armies on the board that shouldn't have been on the board. We had, all that stuff right there was doing clearing operations, which shouldn't have been. So anyway, let's see, move you back a little bit. There we go. So the Belarusians successfully cleared both of those areas. These guys ended up all being out of supply. Basically, they overextended their supply lines, and it's something that I caught a little bit late, but I did catch it. So that area this was cleared. This was cleared. No, that one was cleared. This one they did not successfully clear. I did attempt an emergency resupply at the headquarters here, but it's harder to resupply a headquarters than it is an individual unit, and I did not fail or roll for successful supply of the headquarters here. So that's kind of why all these units are out of supply as well. Let's see here. During the strike phase, we hit that headquarters with some cruise missiles, and they were at a strike 2, but of course, with the reorganization phase, you turn strike 2s into strike 1s, so that's why they're a strike 1 now. But so we had a successful Soviet cruise missile strike. These guys, they backed away, they retreated, and they're gonna try to hold the line right here. And also the supply depot was here, and you can see I have an MSU and an MSU, so they know that they're about ready to get overrun, or it could happen. So I moved the supply depot, or broke it down into 2 mobile supply units and spread them out a little bit. So that's why that arrow is there, just as a reminder for me. Successfully cleared that urban area. Let's see here, what else? We've got these guys moved. I think they were in Sudova, and they moved onto the map. We've got the helicopters. They flew in from, I believe they were in Lithuania. They were somewhere. But now we've got 2 helicopters here. We've got 2 helicopters here that will be able to be used to do strikes or close air support here in the future. Let's see here. Now what else do we got going on? So we successfully blew up that bridge with bombers. It's so hard to do with bombers, man. Good grief. It's ridiculous hard to do with bombers. I don't think it should be that hard, honestly. But that's the way the rules is, and the rules is the rules, right? Unsuccessful clearing operation here. Most of my clearing operations were successful, so I was very surprised that the Russians were able to get that many successful clearing operations. So yeah, blew up some bridges. Blew up that bridge, I believe, with airstrikes. I'm pretty sure it was with an airstrike as well. No, I'm sorry. These Polish air cav, they went ahead and they did it. They demoed that bridge, so that was good. This bridge that's here behind this stack, so it's like here somewhere, right behind that stack. There's a bridge there. That one's still there. We tried to blow it with that group. I think that is. Those are Marines. They're armored Marines, or mechanized infantry Marines, I believe. So they tried to, but because there's enemy units on the other side of the river, it makes it a little bit harder. So they weren't able to do it. Had a couple stealth bombers bomb this stack right here. So I know we caused a little bit of turmoil here. So, and those guys, I had to revisit that. Once I was, when I caught myself saying, hey, these guys might be out of supply because they've advanced farther than, they haven't cleared certain cities. It reminded me that I had to check for supply here. And I come to find out they are out of supply. So the headquarters was out of supply. They got affected by one of the stealth bombers. These guys are out of supply. I think they took a step loss from the other stealth bomber. And then, yeah. So these guys are in a bad way right here at the moment. So we'll see what happens. And then, of course, they're being held up here by the Polish Marines. Hopefully we can get that bridge blown up. And if that happens, then it's going to be an even worse day for the Soviets there. It's going to definitely slow things down a lot for them. So, and then this stack here, I think they were in this hex, and they just moved to that hex. So I believe, I want to say that that's pretty much everything that went on. A lot of clearing operations. I think this was the total tally. So the Russians took control of 5 towns. They took control of the island, so that's 2 victory points. That's one victory point per town, so that's 5 victory points. 2 for the island. They managed to take control of 6 cities and 2 urban areas. So I haven't advanced the victory point marker yet, but it's quite a few victory points right there. And another thing too that I had forgotten to do is these holding boxes that I had used cruise missiles on to cause damage on. I had forgotten to roll for collateral damage for some of the aircraft there. So I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think I had like 1 aircraft. I lost an the NATO forces lost an air mobile point, and I think they took a step loss for 1 aircraft. So, and if you recall, I think there was like 4 or 5 of these that had at least a strike 1 marker on it. This one was destroyed, but now it's under repair. So yeah, I think that's about it. Some screw-ups, some pretty big screw-ups, but, you know, once you have as much time as I have invested in just up to game turn 2, I didn't want to just, you know, pack it away and all that. So I'm going to try to make it work, you know, just advance the reinforcement schedule a little bit for the Allies, and we'll go from there and see what happens. I'm pretty sure in the strategic buildup scenario anyway, you know, the Russian forces will probably win more often than not just because they have the advantage. But we'll see. Anyway, you guys be amazing. Bye.